everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Another 2,000 point battle. 'Tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Cons, versus the Twisted Son of the Warriors of the Dark Gods. This is a great game. The guy that I'm playing, I played him in my very first battle report. He was on my opponent's team. Same guy, he's changed the list up since we last played, he's learned a little bit. There are still some things to his list I know you're going to see, and you're going to be like, either that's not needed, or it's a waste of points, stuff like that. Point it out, he checks the comments section, he's learning, anything you can do to help him out, hell, anything you can do to help me out would be great. But yeah, he's he started up, he doctored up his list. He's keeping to the mark of wrath too. He's a purist. You gotta respect that. But yeah, this is actually a really good game. It's Ogres versus Warriors of the Dark Gods. You know it's gonna be good close combat. You know it. So sit back, relax, and get ready to get soaked in blood. Here's my list, and I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna explain my list because I know my list. I don't know what the hell my opponent was thinking when he made his, but I'm gonna explain my list to you, and then I'm just gonna play some music and go through my opponent's list. It may shave off a few seconds of the videos, but you know what? I like talking about my list because I like talking, and I'm bragging a little bit, and you got to deal with it because it's my channel, because I'm that kind of scumbag. But I've got my Lord, and I'm also doing a suggestion from some people. I'm putting the character model in the background as it scrolls past, so you can kind of see what I'm using and stuff. But anyway, I got my Great Con, Lord Tremendous. He's got the Mark of Change because I gave him a Hell Fist and I'm trying out the Chaos Ogres. He's got the Bluffer's Helm because I like that you have to re-roll me because I got Toughness 5. He's got the Talisman of Greater Shielding and the Charm of Cursed Iron to give his unit a little bit more protection against artillery weapons because they are hurting me. Next up, I've got my Great Shaman, Kaka Shabadoo. I don't even ask where I got that name, but I like it, and I think it's fitting for Ogre Shaman, even though I'm using the AOS Orc Shaman model. I just like the model, so sue me, and it fits on the base, so I'm going to use it. Yeah, I'll see you in court. But he's a level 4 wizard with an Iron Fist because I like the parry. I gave him the Mark of True Chaos because really I just wanted to try out the Path of Alchemy. I wanted to try that because I like the old lower metal, so I want to try it out. I gave him the Demonic Heart because I like forcing miscast rolls, and I gave him the Talisman of Lesser Shielding just simply because 6 up board saves better than being butt naked. Next up, I got my hero choice, only one, and he's my Count like the guy from Sesame Street. Well, my kids like it, so Alright, my kids don't like it. I made that up. I like it. He's my BSB. He's just what I'm using for now until the model that I've ordered for him actually comes in. He's got the Mark of Change as well. He's got the Axebreaker Gauntlet because I like the idea of destroying my opponent's magic weapons. He's got the Dragon Mantle, give him a little bit more survivability, and I had 5 points left over, so I gave him the Gem of Dragonfire just in case I ran into any flaming attacks. So yeah, I'm using Mark of Change a lot because I like the ability to give their attacks different abilities. Divine, magical, flaming, or hellfire, just to give them that little something extra. It doesn't really do a whole hell of a lot more. I know it gives a +1 to casters, and my caster doesn't actually have it, but I'm trying it out. I'm giving it a shot, seeing if I like it or not, seeing how it works. Next up, I got my core choices. As you can see, I have a unit of 5 tribesmen. They have a banner and a musician. They have the Iron Fist and heavy armor because I like the idea of these guys being kind of hard to hit and wound for most lower level things, most other core, right? And I gave them the Mark of Change for the same reason I'm giving everybody Mark of Change. Right here, I've got a unit of 3 bruisers with a musician and the Mark of Change. You know what? I threw this little unit in there earlier when I was making the list just to kind of have a chaff unit, a little something extra, maybe a support unit. But I'm starting to think that maybe I should erase this unit and use those extra points to bolster my other core choices because these little guys are 3. They're just not doing what I want them to do. And then I'm using another unit of 5 bruisers with Musician, Banner, and the Mark of Change. This is the unit that my BSB will go into. For my special choices, I have a unit of 3 Bombardiers with Musician and the Mark of Change. Wanted to give the Bombardiers a shot. I remember them being good back in the day. I've never actually used them. Wanted to try them out, and I figured what better way. And with the Mark of Change, I make their shots even more versatile and useful. Right here, my pride and joy, my 5 mercenary veterans with Musician, Banner, Iron Fists. I gave them the market change, the same reason I've given everything the market change. They have Lethal Strike because I love the fact that 6 is no armor save, basically, and no regen. Bodyguard to make them stubborn as long as the general's in there and they're alive. And I gave them the Banner Speed because while Movement 6 is nice, Movement 7 is better. I'm toying with trying to find the points to give them the Banner to give them Swiss Stride and Strider, but that would bring them back down to Movement 6. Maybe even the Dragon Banner, but then, you know, they're just a little bit slower. They don't have Swift Stride. So many decisions to make, but right now, this is the kit out on them that I like. And last but not least, I have my Kin Eater. And I wanted to try him out. I've known, if you watched the previous battle reports, you know I needed some sort of artillery, archer, something that basically gets in my enemy's backline fast and gives them something to, you know, put some pressure on their artillery, because it eats me alive. It's really starting to mess up my list. So I put the Kin Eater in there, and I gave him the Mark of Lust so that when he charges and hopefully pursues and overruns and all that good stuff, I get the roll that I want, you know, the one that I need in order to make him as useful as possible. So next up is my opponent's list. Feel free to pause the video at any time if you want to see exactly what he had. If not, enjoy the music or fast forward to what magics I got. Here are my spells, and like I said, I'm using the Path of Alchemy, and I'm excited because I got Transmutation of Gold. Looking forward to trying to use that one out. But I think all of them are going to be useful. And I think. Hell do I know, right? And here's deployment. I know you've been looking forward to this, right? For the most part, I kind of clumped up in the middle. I knew I was playing Warriors of the Dark Gods. I knew it was coming, so I put my Merc Vets with my with Lord Tremendous right there on the left center, figuring I need to get to him into the Chosen. Maybe if I'm lucky, I can get the Wasteland Warriors on the left side there to charge into me, and I could eat them alive. I hope. Then, of course, I've got my Bruisers in the middle with my BSB just for all the panic checks and everything like that. He's going to try to get into combat with one of those 2 other bricks because my Greatsword guys need something to take all the attention off of them so they can bring their Strength 6 shots to bear. The Tribesmen are over on the right because I believe they can take the Fallen. I believe they can take the Barbarian Horsemen, although at the time I did not realize that the Barbarian Horsemen were 3-up armor save medium cavalry. I thought they were typical fast cav, you know, with like 5-up armor and just like flails or something. Hoo-hoo, was I in for a surprise. Then I got the Bombardiers over on the right flank there. Their job is to try to get around that little bottleneck and just lay down some hurt in anything that's not in combat. And on the left side, I've got my little unit of 3 Bruisers. Their job was to get a flank and or rear charge as soon as humanly possible. But for the most part, that's what I'm looking to do. Here's my opponent's right flank. Well, right-ish flank, right center flank. On the left there, we've got his Wasteland Warriors with these BSB installed. In the middle there, we've got his Chosen of Wrath. Everything is Wrath, by the way, so if you're asking, everything is Wrath. But yeah, and I believe his Lord of Wrath is in that unit. And here's his left-ish flank. Right there in the middle, you can see his Barbarian Horsemen. Next to them is a unit of the Fallen of Wrath, or whatever. Wrath's Fallen, I'm not really sure. And in the back there is his Chimera. It's got flaming, it's got all the bells and whistles, and yeah, Chimeras are just as dangerous now as they were back in the day. Here's my right flank, which consists of my Bombardiers. And here's my center. From right to left, there's my Tribesmen with my Great Shaman installed, my Bruisers with BSB installed, and my Mercenary Veterans with my General installed. And my left flank, which consists of my 3 Bruisers. Here's top of one after movement, and as you can see, I did not get to go first. My opponent did, and he's Mark Wrath, so he did what Wrath does. They came up as fast as they pretty much could. The Chimera kind of held back a little bit, but not really. More shot over to the left, or his left, our right, as opposed to anything else. He wanted to keep him in line with the Fallen, which actually isn't a stupid idea at all. Everything else just kind of came up respectfully. The Barbarian Horsemen did not come up as far as they could have, which shows that my opponent is not an idiot. So that's a good thing. There is absolutely nothing else to this list other than combat and moving forward. There's no shooting, there's no magic, we're not in combat, so we go to bottom of one after movement. And I gotta be honest, I'm a little nervous. And thus, I make mistakes, because that's what I do when I'm nervous. My Bombardiers just move up a little bit. Stupid, I know. They were in range. I don't know what I was thinking about. I was anxious. I was thinking I could shoot at the Fallen. I could shoot at the Chimera. What are the odds he's going to be able to get into me? Well, you'll find out. The Tribesmen, the Bruisers, and the Mercenary Vets move up just a few inches. I want him to charge and fail. Hopefully fail by just a little, just enough that he misses me, so I can get the charge on him next turn. Because that's, in my opinion, what this game is going to come down to, whether or not I can get the charge. Because the impact hits I can do is really, really important for my strategy. And trust me, my strategy is paper thin. The Bruisers, I meant to change their facing. I wheeled them around, or I did a swift reform, but I meant to change their facing more towards the middle, and I got distracted. I'm stupid. I don't even know what happened there, but I screwed up and I left them facing the mercenaries. You know, sometimes I don't even know what's going on in my own head. But yeah, I really screwed up there in my movement, and well, you'll see what happens. During the magic phase, I get the enchanted blades, I think it is, off on the bombardiers, whatever they're. And the hope there was to make it so that they were able to hit when they shoot better, because they're only ballistic skill 3. And then because I had the lore attribute, I figured the bruisers could use the +1 armor save more than anyone else. During my shooting phase, nothing happens. Those useless bombardiers, they don't hit. They don't hit at all. They're not able to wound the damn Chimera, not able to do anything. So we come over here to top of 2 after movement, and I get charged by the Chimera. The Fallen also tried to charge Bombardiers, but I decided to stand and shoot against the Chimera. And the reasoning was I would have taken a further -1 to shoot at the Fallen because they're skirmishers. And I figured the Chimera is more likely to get into combat with me than the Fallen, so I need to put some wounds on this thing before it gets into me. And there's no way I'm going to screw up my rolls as bad as I just did when I shot at it a minute ago. I don't do anything to him yet again. I think I did 2 wounds, and he was able to regen both of them because the dice gods like to play with my emotions. I believe his Barbarian Horseman tried to charge my Tribesmen and failed, only by an inch though, so it was really close. The Chosen move up, kind of big middle finger to me, daring me to do something about it, and his Wasteland Warriors move up to the forest edge and kind of hold up. There's a better picture of the Chimera running into my Bombardiers and the Fallen failing the charge. So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Bombardiers so far. I'm aware it's my first game with them and things happen and it's the dice gods, but still, I'm spiteful. And there's a better picture of his Barbarian Horseman failing a charge into my Tribesmen, which I'm really glad they did. Just like before, there's no magic or shooting phase for the Warriors of the Dark God side, so we go straight into combat, and the Chimera immediately eats one of my Ogres and takes 2 huge chunks out of another one. I get 6 attacks back, which just kind of ruffled his feathers a little bit. I don't do anything to him, not a damn thing. He just eats my lunch over here. I lose by 6. And these tubby idiots get run down when I break from combat. It's not the greatest start to the Bombardiers' usefulness in my armies. So, yeah, they become a Scooby snack for the Chimera. With all that said and done, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and I make my move. My veterans and my bruisers charge the Chosen, and they both make it. It was glorious. I know I was grinning like an idiot. I was so pleased. And then my Tribesmen tried to charge the Barbarian Horseman, but apparently there's a big-ass mountain between us because I didn't even come close. Meanwhile, my bruisers, now that there's that Chimera on my right flank, and I realize, oh my god, I moved my bruisers like a total moron, I'm like, well, what else can I do? So I move them 12 inches towards the Chimera to try to deal with him, because it's the only thing they're going to see now. The entire purpose of deploying them on the left flank was ruined by my stupidity, and yeah, so I'm trying to salvage that now by sending these guys after the Chimera. And then if you look in the top right-ish corner, you can see my Kin Eater came onto table, and I sent him after the Fallen because I figure he's going to have a better chance against something that doesn't get ranks because they're skirmishers and there's no forests near them. So I'm sending the Kin Eater over to deal with the Fallen. I don't know how well he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to be awesome. I don't know if he's going to be a cheap trick to these guys or what, but I figure what better test for them than to throw them into a unit that completely outnumbers him and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's my movement. There's a better picture of my tribesmen failing the charge into the barbarian horsemen, which, you know what, I'm not overly surprised. Well, that's not true. I'm not happy about it. I'm a little surprised, but it's not the end of the world because they're going to see combat next turn. And there's a better picture of the wall of meat slamming into the Chosen. I'm very excited about this combat. I'm hoping to get some spells off, too, to kind of bolster them. During the magic phase, I'm able to get enchanted blades off on my mercenary veterans, which will help me hit the Chosen guys even easier than before. And just because I'm trying to keep my guys as alive as possible, I throw the lore attribute onto the bruisers after getting the spell off. So we go into combat and we go batshit crazy after each other. Look at this picture. Just look at it. Impact hits, all the damage. My general ends up in a challenge with his general because he has to issue the challenge. And it's absolute insanity, I don't even mind telling you. He wipes out all but one of my butchers, takes out 2 of my mercenary veterans. I wipe out more than half of his army, or half of his unit. I think in the end, I do a wound to his general. He doesn't do anything back to me in the challenge. And then we just end up, I mean, we end up taking out his whole back rank. But I don't mind telling you, Mark of Wrath is no joke. +1 to hit is brutal. The only reason the mercenary veterans did any good is because they had parry, so he was hitting me on 3s instead of 2s, but as you can see, the bruisers had no such luck. They got the crap beat out of them. I don't remember who wins this combat or anything like that, but we do end up sticking it out and stuff. But my mistake, in my opinion, you know what, let me show you the next slide. So here's a picture of everything all cleaned up after the fact. We stick it out. Now, had I been thinking, I would have combat reformed my Merc Vets over to the right, that 40 millimeters, and that probably, maybe, I'm not 100% sure, but that probably would have made it so that his Wasteland Warriors in the top left there couldn't have charged me next turn, because believe it or not, that's a flank. I know the camera angles are hard to tell, but I think if I had just been smart enough to shift my guys over, I would have gotten out of that charge arc. But since I'm not a smart player and I was having way too much fun to think tactical, we go over here. Top of 3 after movement. And as you can see, my tactical acumen is lacking. His Wasteland Warriors very intelligently slam into the flank of my mercenary vets and my lord there. Yeah, I was already hard-pressed dealing with the Chosen. Now that I've got a full unit of Wasteland Warriors in my flank, we all know what direction this fight's going to end up going. And to make matters worse, his Barbarian Horsemen make the charge finally into my Tribesmen because I all but rolled out the red carpet for him. So that's my fault. And, well, actually, you know what? That was just the dice gods. He failed the charge. I failed the charge. It was very unlikely he was going to fail the charge again. So it is what it is, and you got to deal with that sometimes. But I got to be honest, I'm having a blast in this game. This combat is epic. Like, literally, I don't know how I'm ever going to top it. His Chimera moves up to put pressure on the Tribesmen in case they don't break this turn. He's going to slam them in if they're still there after my turn, and that's just smart backup. And his Fallen just turned to face my Kin Eater because when he tries to march with them, he fails his leadership. My Kin Eater was within 8 inches, so he just did the smartest thing he could and turned to face him, which I can't blame him. There's a better picture of his Wasteland Warriors slamming in latest combat, and we all know what's going to happen. I mean, come on, none of us are stupid. And here's a better picture of his Barbarian Horsemen slamming into my Tribesmen. And this is where I find, well, that's not true. This is the combat that I find out that they're medium cav, not fast cav. In true Wrath fashion, there's nothing else going on in his turn, so we go straight to combat, and this one's pretty brutal. He does 5 wounds to me. He needs 3s to hit because I'm parrying, but he's got +1 to hit, so he does 5 wounds to me. He's got the light lances, it makes sense. So I go to attack back, and he's got a 3-up armor, which is a 4-up armor, you know, and that's a ward save that people pay 50 points for. So I'm only able to kill 2 Barbarian Horsemen. So needless to say, this does not go my way, and my tribesmen run away. The funny part about this is they run so spectacularly that the Barbarian Horsemen can't catch them. I told you, there's like a hill there or something. I'm not sure. Maybe a peak. I don't know. But yeah, we're just having trouble connecting when we pursue, flee, charge, whatever. So I'm excited about that because it's my turn next, and I should be able to rally. Maybe I can get a spell off or 2 and lower that unit's, you know, efficiency or something. But I'm hoping for the best here. You know, I got another chance. Over here, yeah, it's the worst parts of the Bible for the ogres. They finish off every last one of my mercenaries and finish off the bruiser. They put 2 wounds onto my poor BSB, and I think my general, or I think my I don't remember. I think my mercs go Simo with the Wasteland Warriors because I'm able to kill 1 of them. I do a little bit of damage to the Chosen, not much. I think 2 or 3, and I lose by a landslide. 2 points just for being in my flank, not to mention being charged. He's got a banner, he's got a BSB, he's got 3 ranks, not to mention just a slaughter ton of friggin' wounds to my, like, paltry amount of wounds and a BSB. Insane Courage does not exist in the 9th Age, and I gotta be honest, I don't know how I feel about that. I like the idea of, even if you lose by a landslide, the unit has a very, very slim chance of sticking. But I'm going to play some more games and see how I feel about it. I'm not sure how I feel about not having Insane Courage in the game anymore. Not that I can actually do anything about it if I decide I don't, but, you know, maybe I can whine on the board or something and get some attention, or at least have it explained to me. Post your comments about it in the comment section. Tell me if I'm being a whiny baby or not, or if I'm being a whiny baby but I'm still right. But yeah, we lose this combat, and I lose by so much. As you can see, I break. So there's just nothing I can do about it. So the funny part about this is that I'm a spectacular fleer, apparently. My general runs 11, my BSB runs 10, the Chosen go after the BSB and fail to catch him, and the Wasteland Warriors go after my general and fail to catch him. So I have a chance. I'm very excited about this. So I'm no longer have a BSB because he drops he throws it down on the ground and runs away. But I like that he didn't just die. You know, he's not a BSB anymore, but the character's not dead. I like that a lot. So I'm looking forward to my next turn. I'm hoping I can rally everybody, and I'm hoping that we can get back into this fight and maybe do some damage before I get my teeth kicked down my throat. Here we are in bottom of 3 after movement, and everybody rallies. The tribesmen rally, the Khan rallies, my great Khan rallies, and flush off of those victories because I was positive somebody wasn't going to rally, and they all did, and I didn't have rerolls anymore because I don't have a BSB. I was excited. So the Kin Eater, you know, he charges into the Fallen. I wanted to see what he could do. I wanted to test him. I wanted to see if I like him or not. Kind of like with the Bombardiers, I wanted to test them, you know, put them in a dire situation and see how they perform. The Bombardiers did not get high marks, but we'll see what the Kin Eater can do and if he's going to end up being shelved or not. The only other thing that I do in my movement phase is I move my bruisers to face his Chosen, because I figure his Chosen are going to go into my Khan and finish him off, you know. That's what I do. And so when he does that, I figured that leaves my bruisers open to go after the Wasteland Warriors that my general's going to charge next turn. I figured his Wasteland Warriors were going to charge my general, but if they make... I mean, it was kind of a far charge. He's only got movement 4, so I was hoping that he failed it. Now, whether or not he did, I was kind of thinking that my general would be alright. I was hoping anyway. I knew he'd end up in a challenge, so I was thinking he might be okay there. And then my bruisers could flank charge the Wasteland Warriors and really do some damage, I hope. But that's what I was looking forward to, and that's why I moved him like that. There's a better picture of my Kin Eater slamming into the Fallen, and I'm very, very excited to see how he does there. There's a better picture of my Tribesman rallying, and that's huge, because it gives me my caster back. There's a better picture of my Khan rallying, which is also good. And there's a better picture of my General rallying. Thank the gods. During the magic phase, I get Transmutation of Gold off on his Wasteland Warriors, and in case you don't know how it works, you roll a d6 for every model in the unit, and you roll it for that model based off the unit owner's decisions. Like, okay, the owner of the unit goes, okay, roll for this character, because for every 5 you roll, that model takes 10 wounds with no saves of any kind allowed. However, you ignore the first 5 up that you roll. So if you get the spell cast on you, the unit owner is going to say, you know what, roll on my character first, because even if you roll a 5 up, it's negated. You know, that first one is negated. So that's what actually happened here. He told me to roll for his BSB first, and I rolled a 6. So if he had told me to roll for anyone else first, and I had rolled a 5 or a 6, it would have been negated, and then his character would have been in danger. So I like what they did there. They made it so that that particular spell isn't able to snipe characters in units as easily unless there's multiple characters in a unit. So I like that a lot. I did end up getting his unit champion, and as you can see, about half the unit, but they're stupid now, so they didn't have to worry about a panic check. Not that Warriors of the Dark Gods are going to fail a panic check, but you get my drift. It was very cool, and now everyone within 12 inches of him is stupid next turn. So maybe I'll get lucky and one of his units will be stupid and not be able to charge next turn. That would be huge, but you know what? We'll see. But just like everything else with Magic, with great reward comes great risk, and I ended up rolling a overwhelming power, which means I miscast 7. Crazy thing about it is I rolled 4 dice to cast the spell, so the damage was... I'm sorry, I rolled 3 dice to cast the spell, and so the damage that was coming in was at Strength 5 minus 3 because it's Armor Piercing 1. And my opponent rolls, he only wounds me once because, wow, and I make my armor save because I put the Commandment of Iron on them, giving them +1 armor save because I think the 3-up is the best you can get, and I make my save. So I took no damage from the spell. I lose the rest of my power dice, but that's fine. I got Transmutation of Gold off, so I got really lucky there. That could have went way different, but I'm quite pleased with the outcome. Go into the combat that I'm very excited about, and I actually do quite well. This is where I found out that the Kin Eater is not a Son of the Avalanche, so he does not have impact hits or anything else like that. He does cause fear, but the Fallen could care less. But yeah, he does 3 wounds to the unit, all in all. I did try to roll the impact hit at first, and then I looked at the rules and saw it wasn't there, so he picked him back up. But he's able to do 3 wounds. Hatred is a beautiful thing. In return, he takes a wound or 2, but I win this combat. They're not steadfast, I don't think, because they're skirmishers and they don't count as having any ranks. Not 100% how that works. I'm not sure if we did that right, but he makes his break check and he doesn't go anywhere. But the Kin Eater is doing exceptionally well considering just how many attacks the Fallen can put out. So as of this moment, I'm very impressed with the Kin Eater. So with that all said and done, we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and they put the pressure on me. Is Barbarian Horseman and the Chimera slam into my Tribesmen. Totally understandable. Very intelligent move by my opponent. Crush that unit, get him off the table, you know, secure the points. Can't exactly fault him for that at all. But I don't fault him for this, but what threw me off is that instead of going after my Khan, he goes after my Bruisers with his Chosen, and he makes it. Really surprised me. I figured he'd go after the character. That's what I would have done. And after thinking about it, I think maybe he made the right decision because, yeah, he already got the BSB, so he's already getting 100 points for my banner. You know, he can sweep up the character later. But what I do see is his Wasteland Warriors fail a charge into my General, which is huge. So what I'm thinking is if... I think my Bruisers will stay alive. I'm not 100% on that one, but my Khan can now charge the Wasteland Warriors, I'm hoping, and slam into him, provided he passes his break check if my bruisers break. But I'm looking forward to that, because now my plan can still happen. It's modified, but I might still be able to secure the points for the Wasteland Warriors and maybe pull out a draw. It really kind of comes down to what I can do here. I'm not feeling good about the Tribesman combat at all. There's a better picture of his Chimera and Barbarian Horseman slamming into my Tribesman, and unless he rolls really, really bad, this is going to go poorly for me. And there's a better picture of his Chosen slamming into my Bruisers, which, very smart choice by my opponent. And here's a better picture of his Wasteland Warriors failing a charge into my Great Khan, which is, finally caught a break. No shooting and no magic, we go straight into combat, and we go after the Kin Eater one, and as you can see, I do 2 wounds to him. I don't think he does anything back to me. I win by 2, and he makes his break check. So, still, the Kin Eater is tearing these guys apart. I'm very, very impressed. And here, all the Tribesmen die. Every last one of them die. The only one left is Kaka Shabadu, my Shaman, and here's what's funny. My opponent is so confident that he's going to run down my Shaman with his Chimera that his Barbarian Horsemen test to restrain and pass, and then they turn their back on him to go and get into this combat, take out my characters and stuff, which is smart. I get that. I would have made the same gamble. So when I flee with my Shaman, I roll a 3. I'm like, oh no, you got him. So he rolls 3 dice to chase me down with his Chimera, and he rolls 3 1s. The Chimera fails to catch me. I get away. I couldn't believe it. Oh, but that's the kind of luck I've been having. It's been going all over the place. But yeah, my Shaman could rally and come back now. I'm very excited. So here, however, it's more bad news. It's all bad news. The Bruisers get cut down to a man before they can do anything. Yeah, the Chosen tear him to pieces. The Chaos Lord does all the... Yeah, it was unfortunate. It just furthers my knowledge, my need to take them and stop them from being a little unit of 3, because they're not going to do anything, and put them into either... remove them and use the points to add more Bruisers to my 5-man brick, or add more Tribesmen to, that brick, or just add more to both of them with those points, make my core, and move on from there. But it's unfortunate. My Bruiser does make his Panic check and stays. Right here, this is just the way he reformed after killing my Bruisers to face my Khan. And I didn't have a huge problem with that, because I kind of figured he would turn to look at the Wasteland Warriors, knowing I was going to try to charge past them to get into there, but he didn't. So not only do I get a nice charge off on his Wasteland Warriors with both my Khan and my Great Khan, but he's not going to be able to countercharge, so kind of happy about that. So here we are, the bottom of 4 after movement, and my Great Shaman, my Great Khan and my Baby Khan, they both charge Wasteland Warriors and make it. And the look on my opponent's face when I charged the Khan into his Wasteland Warriors, he was like, oh yeah, I didn't see that. I was proud. Something that I planned finally worked out. Very exciting. My Great Shaman rallies and hangs out right there and gets ready to just unload the Shabadu. All the Shabadu. But yeah, that's really it. There's a better picture of my Khan slamming into the Wasteland Warriors, and I'm really hoping to scoop up those points. The BSB and the Wasteland Warriors, if I get all those points, that would really help me in this game. And there's a better picture of Kaka Shabadu rallying, and that's great because I'm going to unleash some fury on those Barbarian Horsemen. In the magic phase, Shabadu puts Transmutation of Gold on the Barbarian Horseman, and I'm able to kill 3 of them with the spell, which is outstanding. Because it just occurs to me after I get the spell off that the Chimera is within 12 inches, and the Chimera's leadership is like a 5. The Lord and the BSB are way far away. I'm hoping that he's just stupid. Now, I'm not sure exactly how it works. I think if the Chimera is stupid and goes off the board, it just stops like an inch away from the board edge. That's how we were going to play it if it happened, because you can kind of see how close he is to the board there. But we weren't 100% on that, so we looked it up. It looks like he just stops an inch away from the board edge, but if you guys know something I don't, please, please, please put it in the comment section below so that I can get better at this game. And after the spell goes off, I put the lore attribute on him because he's the only one in range, and now he's got a 5-up armor, which isn't going to help him at all. Unfortunately, I went balls to the wall here and threw 5 dice at that spell in order to ensure it went off, and I overwhelming powered it, which made me, well, which of course ensured that I miscast, and I rolled a miscast 3. So Shabadoo gets cockeyed on pretty good and blows himself to smithereens. The blast does hit one of the Barbarian Horsemen, though. Takes out the Barbarian Horseman. So that's something. Strength 7 hit. You know, I wouldn't say I got the last laugh, but I got a chuckle at the end. Here, my Kin Eater kills off 2 more of the Fallen, which is awesome. He takes a wound in return. I win by 1. They break. They actually break. I chase after him, obviously. I pursue, and I fail to catch him. He loses 1 more Fallen because they ran through the impassable terrain. And I screwed up here. I forgot until about halfway through the next turn that he's Mark of Lust, which means he could have re-rolled his Pursue roll. And just to add insult to injury, I rolled it. It didn't count for anything because once I screw up, I don't take it back. But, you know, if it would benefit me, I don't go back and try to redo it. It's just, that's on me. If it benefits my opponent, then I ask them if they want to go back and redo it. In this situation, it would only benefited me, so I'm like, no. Because my opponent was like, okay, fine, they're dead. And I'm like, no, it's not the way I do it. No benefits for Lord Tremendous. But I'm thrilled that the Kin Eater was able to take these guys out. I'm super impressed with the Kin Eater, and I'm kind of wondering what 2 of them would do, you know? Over here, this doesn't go as great as I had hoped. I'm able to kill 3 of these guys with impact hits, but before my Khan can attack, he gets killed by the Wasteland Warriors. Partially our fault. We forgot that the Mark of Wrath only affects units in your frontage, so he did get the +1 to hit my Khan in the flank. Our mistake. I take full responsibility for that. My general ends up in a challenge with his general, and neither of us do anything to each other. I charged and did 3 wounds to his rank and a banner. I win by 1. They're steadfast. Well, no, that's not true. I think he won this combat because he did 2 wounds, rank, banner, BSB to my charge, and 3 wounds. He won this combat, but I stuck it out, so that was good. But I lost my Khan, and that was bad. So that's all said and done. We go over here to top of 5 after movement, and there's not a ton. His Fallen failed to rally, so they keep fleeing. Not far, maybe like 5-6 inches. Not a huge big deal. The Chosen and the, what's it called? The Barbarian Horseman kind of move to get a hold of the Kin Eater because they know he's coming. He knows, as well as everybody else that's watching this knows, I'm going to charge the Fallen with my Kin Eater. They're going to flee, bounce through, and then I'm going to redirect into the Barbarian Horseman because I'm not sending my Kin Eater with one rune remaining into the Chosen because I choose life. Meanwhile, huge bonus, the Chimera is stupid. Absolutely outstanding. The Chimera is actually stupid. It's fantastic that worked out. So now that Chimera can't fly around and get a hold of my general, can't get a hold of my Kin Eater unless I do something really stupid, and not that that's beyond me, but I'm just kind of hoping that I don't. But yeah, it really makes it easier to deal with what's left in his army in the short amount of time I have left. There's a better picture of his Chimera that failed the stupidity check, which is awesome. And he would have gone off the board, but like I said, we just stopped him at the board edge and just said, you know what, you're not gone, you're not off the board, because we don't understand how that rule works. I'm sure if I bothered to look at it and really think about it, I could figure it out. But if you guys know for sure, just put it in the comment section. I'd appreciate it. There's a better picture of the Fallen that are still fleeing, which is out flipping standing. Through to Wrath, we go straight into combat, and I end up taking a wound. I don't do anything to his BSB, just rolling like butt kiss, which is bad. So he does wound, rank, banner, BSB to my nothing. I lose by 4, but I roll a 3 and stick it out. I got lucky as hell. So we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and I follow through on my plan. My Kin Eater charges the Fallen, who flee. They bounce through the Barbarian Horsemen and the Chosen. The Chosen are frenzied, couldn't care less. The Barbarian Horsemen are not frenzied, but easily past their leadership because the general's sitting right there. I believe he's sitting on a 9. So I roll my leadership to redirect, pass, and slam into the Barbarian Horseman, which is huge. And I kind of put him in there so that if he overruns, I can't hit the Chimera. I wanted to put him slightly over to the right. That, well, you know, if I beat the Barbarian Horseman, they break, then I don't run into the Chimera. And I thought about putting him over so that I could, if I break the Barbarian Horseman, I overrun and force the Fallen to flee some more. Maybe even catch him if I roll, like, out of the box. But I didn't want to take the chance of him sticking and the Chosen coming after me and knocking my King Eater's head off his shoulders. So I put him there conservatively, trying to play smart. You know, it only took me 5.5 turns to play intelligent, kind of, so it's probably too little too late, but I'm trying. There's a better picture of the Fallen fleeing and the King Eater slamming into the Barbarian Horseman. Huge heroic moment over here. My general kills his BSB. I do 3 wounds, I believe, to his rank and a banner. I win by 1, but he's steadfast and stays. But that's huge that his BSB is dead. That's a lot of points that I really needed. And then here, my King Eater is able to kill 2 of the Barbarian Horsemen, taking no damage in return. I actually make my regen saves, which is stupid, I know, but hey, I'm thrilled I'm making saves. Charge and 2 to no wounds, and I believe he's got a banner in that unit. I win by like 2. They break, they get run down, and that's where I end up. It was amazing. I actually remembered here, too, that I can re-roll my overrun distance, too, so that's the only reason I caught those guys. I was super, super excited about it. Everybody passes their panic check that needs to take it, which sucks, but it is what it is. And so with that done, we go here to top of 6 after movement, and there's no charges. His Fallen rally, his Chosen turn to face my King Eater, and the Chimera turns to face my King Eater. What else can he do? There's a better picture of his Fallen rallying, which kind of sucks. I go into combat over here, and I kill 2 of the guys. They do nothing to me, and they break. I don't run them down, but they're fleeing, and it's my turn next. I'm only a couple of inches behind them. I'm hoping I can get them. This is awesome. So with nothing else going on, we go over here to bottom of 6 after movement, and I catch them. I charge with my general into the fleeing wasteland warriors and run them the F down. Absolutely fantastic. Nothing else happens. I will not send my King Eater into the Fallen because I just don't want to press my luck. Yeah, I could have got a hold of him. Maybe I could have killed him off. You know what? Maybe I should have done the points and realized that that was the only way I was going to even come close to a draw, but I was just, he has done so much, he deserves to live in this battle. And I'm sure after this turn, the Chosen, the Fallen, and the Chimera just let him leave. I have no doubt at that at all. There's a better picture of my general running those bastards down, and that's just flipping outstanding. And there it is. There's the end of the game, guys. I've got my King Eater and my general left. He's got his Fallen, his Chaos Lord, his Chosen, and a Chimera left. We beat the ever-loving crap out of each other, but what an epic game. It ended on both sides on a high note, or at least on my side. He seemed to be enjoying himself, but what an absolutely fantastic game. In the end, I was defeated. It was a defeat for Lord Tremendous. I got 1,331 points out of him. He got 1,853 out of me for a difference of 522. I ended up losing my Great Shaman, Kaka Shabadu, my Khan BSB, Count my Tribesmen, both units of Bruisers, my Bombardiers, those useless idiots, and my Mercenary Veterans. Oh, man. What a friggin' game. This game had everything. It was truly amazing. Bouncing around each side, huge upsets, huge surprises. This is the first time I've ever seen a pure Wrath army actually viable, let alone win. Very impressed. What I wasn't impressed with was the Bombardiers. I mean, I took in total 6d6 worth of shots at the Chimera and wasn't able to do anything, and it really ate at my soul that they were that useless. In close combat, that doesn't surprise me at all. They're not made for combat in my opinion, but holy crap, 6d6 shots into a T5 monster and I wasn't able to do anything to it? I'm gonna try him again. I haven't given up on him yet. In my next game I try him again, but just really disappointed overall. I know a lot of people like him. I know a lot of people have a lot of luck with him, but that just might not be the unit for me. The Barbarian Horsemen that are now medium cavalry is very exciting to me. I was really, really looking forward to that back in the day, or that being a possibility, and now the fact that it is, that's super huge to me. I'm really, really pleased that they did that. Chosen, if you see Chosen on the table, magic them, shoot them, plead with them, surrender to them, but do not fight them in close combat. Oh my god. I don't know if Lust, Wrath, Pestilence, and True Chaos are as dangerous as Wrath Chosen, but oh, sweet mother of all that is not Chaos. Those guys beat the crap out of my army. And what a remarkable unit to go toe-to-toe against. They took a double charge from 2 walls of meat with 2 characters and still ate my lunch. Oh, man. If my opponent had been able to roll good pursue rolls, this would have been a much shorter battle report. But in the end, this was just an absolutely fantastic game. Even if I lost, we had a terrific time. My opponent was mainly a 40k player, and I think I've ruined him for 40k. 9th Age is just that incredible. He's a terrific opponent. I really enjoyed playing against him, and I'm really looking forward to a rematch. I can't wait to see what he does with his list. And to be perfectly honest, I want another shot at him. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this battle report. Number 3 is now officially in the YouTube history books. You know what? You've seen how much fun I'm having with the 9th Age. Go and check it out for yourself if you haven't already. www.the-9th-age.com. Go check it out, guys. You're not going to be disappointed. The rules are free. The army books are free. It's a very active and vocal and cooperative community where the forums, it's all we're talking about. You know, it's absolutely easy. It's free to get into. It's totally fun. You get any models you want as long as you're on the right basis. You're golden. I mean, this is probably the best war game, tabletop war game out there in the world. So why play second place when you could be part of the winners? Just throwing it out there. But thanks for watching my battle report, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comments section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.